Good evening. Wherever you are in the world, I'm calling it evening. And for some of you, that's not true, right? Which means that it's not true. But we play along. Yeah, we play along with all of it. And at a certain point, we forget that we're playing along. You know, there's a certain moment when we completely forget that we're playing along and actually lose sight of reality. And at a certain point, become identified in that play of being somebody in particular, a sense of a separate self. We play it so well, we build it up and practice it and refine it, and practice it. At a certain point, we believe it. We believe building up that image and playing it so well, refining it, and over again, coming up with the same, that we forget, come to a point of completely forgetting what we truly are, and identification. So it's no secret, and I love, all of you that are on the call. It's really the beings that come here and sign up and sit with me. These are the beings that already are breaking out of either burst that bubble or breaking out of that locked in programmed persona. And so much that comes with that. I'm not just talking about recognizing I am awareness. I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about the whole of life, the way you live that, the way you express what you are into the world. I'm talking about all of that, because that recognition, the recognition of I am that which is always aware, I am the awareness of all that, is really truly the beginning, right? And many of you who are here, you already know that, you already realize that, and that's why we get to meet deeply, because I couldn't if somebody don't know what I'm talking about, right? I just couldn't meet you if you didn't already come to a certain place to be ready to meet. So that allows for its own depth. Yeah, it's a collective meeting of a depth of understanding and recognition. So you are mostly, all of you, at different stages and ways. However, I'm sure that you see and you realize that there is a planetary radical shift taking place, and it's not like a choice. It's not a choice, and it's not fashion. We're all in a shift. We're all in a. It's not like another shift and another shift. It's not all these incremental little shifts. This is radical. Radical is radical. Radical. What does radical mean for you? Yeah. So the planet itself is been building for a long, long time, even though there's no time, right? But it's been building towards this moment of climax where it's like a radical shift. It looks like a radical shift, even though it's been moving in this direction. Now it's like, okay, now there's no way back. Now you know. So for many years, people have been talking about awakening and spirituality and spiritual seeker and spiritual search and blah blah blah. Yeah, many have been talking about that for many years, reading books. So one day I'll get there. La la la. Right? It's just like a play school, like a preparation, like just to help your mind come a little bit ready for this moment. So you can take it a bit more easier. That this like, okay, you know, depending on how you've been in that preparation stage is going to be how you experience the news that life is now letting the human race know it's all over, you know, it's all over. Who you thought you were, what you thought you had control over, where you thought you were, what you thought you were becoming, or whatever you thought is all over. Life itself, divinity itself, consciousness itself, whatever name we want to call it, it's letting the human race know there's no way back. You cannot be who you've been. You cannot be who you've practiced to become. You cannot be anything that you have any idea about being. You cannot be. All over, right? Still, there is tea. Tea remains. So that right now, it's like it's coming kind of on the human race level, it's like a bit shocking, you know, what's this pandemic and whatever else, you know, the ongoing unfolding on the surface, that it's not ending, right? It's now a radical obviousness on the surface of our lives that you got to change. You got to be ready for change, and you cannot have any control over how that's going to unfold. You cannot know, and you will have to keep on adapting and adapting and adapting and adapting. Yeah. So it's a radical teaching. And then that begins to show up in, like, it's choiceless, it's happening anyway, right? So then that begins to show up in the personal life, where you are called in your personal expression to get radically honest, get radically true, and you cannot anymore keep your life in a split kind of way, you know. You can have your spiritual practice and then you've got your life. So on the surface, and it's like a global pandemic is like got everybody's attention, no matter what level they're looking from, whether they're anyway on a spiritual quest or realization or whatever. It's got everybody's attention, no matter what. Yeah, in one way, shape, or form or another. Yeah. And for the majority, they were waiting for it to go back to normal. And there are levels that just want to have things and when it's not, that brings about fear. And it will be more and more and more. It's just the beginning of it, more and more and more. So the radical shift within you and your personal world will depend much on, you have a true knowing that you must live. And it's not because I say you must live, don't blame me. It's not because I say, it's because life says. Because if you don't, it's the only place where you find space. And you need space. You need space in here. You need space. And if you don't have the space, it's because old structures are still trying to hold on and play in ways that don't work anymore. And it becomes painful, and it's experienced as difficulty. And difficulty and difficulty and difficulty until you go, let's go. And then the space. Because it was too difficult to hold on to it anymore. It was too difficult to fit into that tight cloak, that jacket, It was too difficult because it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So out of fear and the need for holding something together, there's a constant not being really, really what you are all the way, because it takes a radical truth, a radical honesty with yourself and the world, right? And it's difficult until a certain moment where you cannot anymore, and it's difficult, but there's more space. There's more space for you. There's more space for what you are, because what you are is spacious and aware. So more and more and more, more and more and more, you find that it's the only thing that works. People and things and situations will try to keep you according to the ideas of the way that they think the world is. And it's not like that. The world is not like that. If you are recognizing what is coming through here, if you're recognizing and if you are actually like relieved that you are being called back to live the truth of what you are into your human expression. There's nothing to hold on to. Death of the body is the only certainty. And there will have to be risk and risk and risk to live what you are, because you're breaking the status quo. There's no other choice. Yeah. A radical shift in consciousness means that you need to start living from the consciousness that you are and not the personal, programmed, conditioned, play along self. You can, if you want, try to distract yourself, try to numb out, play the game. That's what most will do, is to try to all play the game together, so that all convincing each other that still. But you will ache. Inside deeply you will ache, because something is not fulfilled, something is just not complete, something is just not. Do you have an ache? That ache is calling you more and more. Death of the body can come tomorrow, next week, next month. Why are you here? Why are you here on this planet at this time, in this amazing planetary radical shift of consciousness in the human race, possibly extinction of the human race? Why are you here now? Why are you here? What have you come in this lifetime, in this body life? Why did you come? Yeah. And this is not like oh, why? Why did I come? So I don't mean like that. I mean like the words themselves, they touch that knowing in you, because there's a knowing of what you truly are being called to. You can be in denial of that, because a lot of fogginess and a lot of habitual thing can keep you kind of but there will be a difficulty with that. You keep on needing to find ways to distract. So if there is difficulty and if there is struggle, consider that it calls you to a depth. It calls you again and again to a depth. And to really align to that depth, you need space. You need space inside. You cannot be filled up all the time with the habitual